Hey, Brian,
What's up?
how many South Americans does it take to change a light bulb?
A Brazilian?
Yes. Hey, Brian, do you know I have a friend who's a scarecrow?
I didn't know that.
He just got promoted at his job. He's outstanding in his field.
Okay, that's pretty good. All right, what's up, Fanout Crew here? Brian, Colby, and Jeff. We got Jeff finally rocking on his own computer. He missed this last week due to some technical difficulties.
He was on one last time. Last time he was here, he was on his own.
Yeah, but it was still kind of laggy.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. So he's left the prehistoric era of really, really bad Wi-Fi. He's plugged into the Ethernet now, and it's made a big difference. But hey, I guess before we get into our topic for the day, how you guys doing tonight?
Man, I'm working from home because apparently Cameron's daycare doesn't know how calendars work. So like summer camp ended the week before school starts. So they're just like, sorry, parents, you're going to have to figure out something for a week. So I'm here with him for the week. That's fun.
That's a little shitty.
I mean, it is what it is. It's, hey, we're not having to pay for that week. So that's kind of cool.
Right. But what about the two parents that have to have their kid,
seriously.
Find somewhere for them to go?
Yeah. At least with COVID, you can be like, hey, I got to work from home. It's
right.
More places are accepting of it and stuff. But still, it's a challenge.
One question. Doesn't that mean you also don't know how to read a calendar if you didn't realize that summer school ended a week before?
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and talk about Incredible Hulk tonight. What did you guys... So, Jeff, actually, before we get started, we you weren't able to join us for the Iron Man video. Any just real quick thoughts you wanted to share on that one before we jump into Hulk?
It had been a long time since I had seen the movie, and it was everything that I remembered. It was really good still. I mean, we didn't put my numbers up there.
Yeah, sorry, I was tired. I'll do it this time, of course.
I think I have it still on here. See if I can find it real quick.
I have it,
but they were very similar to what you guys.
I think they were exact, except for one.
Yeah, you had a 4 for cinematography, which matched us, a 5 on cast performance, which matched us, a 5 for plot, which was one higher than me and Colby, 5 for rewatchability, and a 3 on the music.
Yeah, so I only had one that was different from what you guys had, which is crazy because we didn't. I didn't know. I didn't listen to y'all's or anything. Y'all were filming, then asked me,
right?
And I texted it to you.
But I think that shows how good this movie is and how just well received it was universally.
Right.
I mean, we all had it. No one had it below A tier. I think I had it in A, and I think you both may have had it in S, right? I don't remember. So it's just a great movie.
And the way we were scoring stuff, I figure mine is going to be a lot different than you guys, is because y'all are so much into the comics and stuff like that, and I'm just basically a casual fan that know nothing about but just the movies. But it was kind of cool to see that we aligned, pretty
it broke my mind a little bit because Colby and I never agree on anything.
And it wasn't really planned. We just kind of did it off the cuff live. So, but yeah, it was a good video. Let's move on to Hulk. Brian, which category do you want to start with first?
Let's just start with the cast. I feel like that's a good place to start.
Okay. Jeff, since you weren't here, why don't you go ahead and kick us off for this one? The cast performance.
Let's see. The cast performance, I gave it a 3 because I actually didn't mind, which is kind of weird because I didn't mind the cast. I thought the cast wasn't really bad. It wasn't an awful cast. It was named actors. I mean, it wasn't like they just found random actors and threw them in there.
Right.
So the cast wasn't bad. So actually, I gave the cast a 3, because I really liked what's her name, Aerosmith's daughter,
Liv Tyler.
I really like her character. I thought she did a good job.
Same here.
but that was really the only standout performance from the cast. You know, like the cast was good, the acting wasn't the greatest. But I still think the cast was all right.
Brian?
I'm a little conflicted on that one myself because Colby, you and I have already talked a little bit about the actor changes for the Hulk over the movies, and I'm a big fan of Edward Norton in general.
Same.
I remembered liking him a lot in this movie before rewatching it, and it had been several years since I had watched it. I think I'm watching it again. I did still really like Edward Norton. He's sort of a different scientist in this, or a different type of Bruce Banner than Ruffalo is. Like he's a lot more into the chemistry type, like biochem type stuff, whereas Ruffalo's character in the Avengers, we only really get scientific, like
Ruffalo's more of
stuff
like a
out of him.
mathematician kind of scientist.
Yeah. So it's a little different there, but I still really enjoyed Edward Norton, although his version of the Hulk is ugly as shit.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, Liv Tyler, she's stunning. She's gorgeous, beautiful, and I felt that she was a really good Betty Ross. Tim Roth is a great villain. I felt like, even though Abomination was ugly as shit, and William Hurt as General Thunderbolt Ross. He's still recurring as this character, and I feel like he was a perfect casting for that character. And then I'm sad we didn't get more of Tim. What's his last name?
Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah, they kind of introduced him as being leader at the end, and I was really excited about that. And then they just kind of dropped him like a hot turd. But anyways, I'm at a 3.5. I was initially a little lower than that. I was at like a 2.5, and then I started to think about Thunderbolt Ross, and I just think he was a really good casting call. And Liv Tyler was great too if they ever decided to bring her character back.
Yeah, so I actually have it a little bit higher. I'm at a 4 for this one. William Hurt to me was actually the standout performance in this. I totally forgot how much he was in this movie. Like he's in it a lot, and he just has that really like grizzled old government military guy who's just pissed off at everything, and he just has that face. You know what I mean? And
he's believable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just forgot how good he was in this movie. Liv Tyler to me is the second standout of this film. I think she's great. The chemistry between her and Edward Norton is great. Like I do not buy Edward Norton as Bruce Banner, just like the traditional Bruce Banner. You mentioned it earlier. He's kind of a different iteration of him. I don't buy him as a scientist. If he was just some regular dude who had this happen to him and he was on the run and trying to get back with his, with Betty and that kind of stuff, I'd totally be fine with that. But I just don't buy him as Bruce. Tim Roth is great in this. Tim Blake Nelson is in this for just a short amount of time, but he's great too. He's just really like kooky, like, chemistry guy and scientist, that kind of thing. He's kind of like a mad scientist kind of person, which I thought was cool. So overall, I have the cast performance as a 4.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You kind of touched on it. So I think let's kind of go to plot, because I feel like that's very close to the cast performance. I did have a couple of things I wanted to note on specifically with Edward Norton and the plot of this film. And I do feel like this movie portrayed the Hulk better than any of the other movies he's been in, because in watching it again, I realized that no one fears the Hulk more than Bruce Banner. Like everyone else is engaging him, they're throwing stuff at him, and they're like, "Yeah, don't let him see you," and they sort of have a sense of fear. But them having the heartbeat monitor and him kind of being in a constant state of panic, trying to make sure he's staying under control. Like, I feel like they did a really good job of showing that he's actually more afraid of himself than other people are.
Yeah.
So I did like that. And it's, the plot with General Ross and Betty, I thought was really good. They did have good chemistry, but it really worked well on screen. And obviously there was some stuff that happened between the first Hulk movie and this one. But it's was Ross even in the first one? I don't remember. I feel like
So I haven't seen that movie but one time, and I don't even want to remember it. So
I thought I remembered one of them being in it.
I pretend like it doesn't exist. Like I just pretend,
Yeah, regardless, the plot in this was definitely better than the first one where he fought a freaking cloud.
See, I don't even remember that, dude. Oh, dude, I've seen that movie one time. I've seen that movie one time, and I keep hitting this damn thing. But so what's your score for plot?
I'm at a 3. I don't think I have anything else noted plot wise.
So for me,
I did like that it kept touching on the biological stuff, kind of echoing what I was saying earlier about him being a biochemist. I really enjoyed that.
For me, this is that like quintessential mid 2000s like X-Men Raimi universe style. I mean, watch the opening credits of this movie and tell me that's not an X-Men opening scene, with the blood cells and everything and all that, like a montage stuff. Like that's totally X-Men. It just has this formulaic, plot where it's like the dude is running from someone. He, is trying to suppress his powers and all this stuff. And it's, I don't know. I don't really, this plot is in a way not complicated, but in a way it kind of is really convoluted, with all the different like he's emailing this dude that he meets somewhere we don't know, like they've already met, and I don't like movies in general where the director assumes you're already familiar with the source material, and this movie absolutely does that. If you've never heard of the Incredible Hulk before and you just see this movie, you're like, what the hell is what is this? I have the plot as a 2.5. I was between 2 and 3, so I'm just gonna say 2.5. It's not great, it's not bad. It's a movie about a green rage monster who gets pissed and throws stuff. I mean, that's what do you want?
Right.
What you got, Jeff?
I actually have it as a 1.
Can't really argue. I mean,
for the simple fact that I didn't even finish it, and I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
I realized that I had never watched the whole, even though when I was a kid, I loved the movie, and the whole time during this movie, after 20, 30 minutes, I'm on my phone and I'm
you caught the Lou Ferrigno cameo, right?
Lou Ferrigno cameo.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mention that. That was one thing that I did like because they threw him in there. But I caught myself on my phone, just scrolling through Facebook or whatever and not paying attention to the movie. And the next thing I know, over half the movie's over and I'm like, screw it. I'm not even going to finish watching it because it has not kept my attention. So
yeah,
I gave it a 1.
You caught the Bill Bixby
keeping track of these,
cameo
right,
too. Yeah.
Okay.
You caught the Bill Bixby cameo too at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
On the TV. Yeah. There's a few cameos in this. Stan Lee's cameo is really cool with the green soda. That was a good one for him.
Oh yeah, when he gets it out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, he's like, wow.
Yeah, and he sort of had a double cameo with the Italian restaurant being named Stanley's. I don't know if that was meant to be or not. Yeah. All right.
So what's the next one?
Let's jump over to cinematography / special effects. I was also kind of a hit and miss on this one. This is the worst version of CGI Hulk that exists.
It's so bad, dude. It's so bad.
He's got a really lame emo haircut. It's which doesn't help. It's just really, really bad. Abomination is ugly as hell. What else did I have noted on here?
One thing that I noticed, and I totally forgot, this one is a lot more it's gonna sound lame, but his muscles are a lot more sinewy and fibrous in this one. You can see every single fiber. In the Mark Ruffalo one, he's just a bulky dude. He's just big.
Yeah.
I have that. It looks so weird.
Here. He was too lean.
Yeah.
He has 0% body fat, and it's gonna sound weird to say he looks unnatural, but
right. I know what you mean.
It's too unnatural. But with that said, the CGI was bad. However, the very beginning of the movie when he first transforms into the Hulk, there like when it flashes the green eyes, like the old school TV show, and then he almost has this
in the like Brazil like warehouse
in the
thing.
bottling factory.
That one was cool. I thought the actual transformation, or the first part.
Yeah, well, it's the transformation looked really good, and then they did make it look really painful, even though he looked ugly as crap. The transformation itself, I thought, was actually
one
really
of them
good.
looks horrible when he's on the table and they're trying to give him the antidote, and his like shoulder like comes out. Like that one looked really bad as far as like painful, but it's just, here's the thing, it's not like 2008 was 40 years ago. You know, there are movies that have CGI before that look way better, and I get it. Marvel was a small studio at the time. It's so weird seeing Universal before a Marvel movie, you know, because this is a Universal property, but the CGI takes me out of the movie. Well, here, sorry, it's still your turn. I'll let you give your score.
I was just gonna touch two more things. The sound cannons on the Humvees was a really cool effect, I thought, and then the last thing that isn't special effects but good cinematography is I do feel like after he first transforms in the bottling plant, and he's like sort of just going through the shadows, and you only catch like trailing glimpses of him, reminded me of Jaws, and how they're like, you kind of know the shark is there, but you can't quite see it. And I really actually enjoyed that. And it made the situation feel more frightening. So it still overall wasn't that great. So I'm at a 2.5. I was at a 2 originally.
Jeff?
So 2.5.
Let me pull it up where I wrote it down. I gave it a 2. Just for the simple fact it was 13 years ago. And you know, maybe a couple years before they released it. So, you know, even further than that. It doesn't seem like that long ago. And there has been CGI out a lot, but I mean, there are some movies out there that are just dog shit, you know, when you go back and watch them.
Like, this is totally watchable. It's just from what compared to the other movies, even the ones in D tier, the CGI here stands out really, really poorly.
Right. But I don't know. I guess I went into it with like really shitty expectations. Like, this is going to be the worst shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it was the worst shit I ever seen, but it was still bad.
Right.
But I gave it a 2 just for the fact that it's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best, even though it was, you know, 2008 when it came out.
Yeah. So it's funny. I'm a little higher than you guys so far. I actually give it a 3, but like just barely. I mean, like 3.0, like not even a solid 3, you know? And it's because of what you just said. Like, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. You know, it was 13 years ago, second MCU movie. Plus the shots that don't involve Hulk in this movie are beautiful. Like when it's going over the Brazilian like town stuff and all those like,
when he's like running, they're chasing him over the.
That's a great shot. And then the shot in British Columbia with him like jogging and stuff. Like they had some really cool like crane shots, and maybe even like, I don't know if they were using drones then, but just some really good sweeping shots in this movie. The CGI is, I mean, we've talked about it. It's not good. It's funny because I actually think Abomination looks 10 times better than Hulk does. The scene in the cave when it's like raining and lightning and stuff, that shit looks horrible. It's horrible. And anytime Abomination is like running, like there's one scene when he's like climbing the buildings and the helicopter is chasing him. That is pathetic. But when it's just him, like when it shows close-ups of them and they're not really moving, it's not that bad. But anytime there's any kind of motion, I mean, it just looks janky as hell. So I'm at a 3, but because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt for the actual camera work on this one.
What do we got next?
Let's jump over to music score.
This shouldn't take long.
I'm at a 1. There is not a single memorable like original piece of music in this at all. I think there was like one rock song in it that I enjoyed, but I don't even remember what it was or when it was. I'm
the exact same. If you played 10 tracks and 5 of them were from the movie, I couldn't point them out at all. The completely forgettable score for me.
Yeah, I gave it a 0.
Jeff's like, was there music in this movie?
Yeah, I mean, and I feel bad even rating it because I really just didn't pay attention to the movie, you know, like I would catch myself watching, you know, 5-10 minutes of it and then go back to, you know, scrolling on my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just really hard for me to pay attention to the movie.
Yeah, the music does nothing for this. It's to me, music is supposed to like you're not supposed to notice it, but it's one of those things that when you do think about it, you should at least have some memorable like I know Iron Man's theme, I know Captain America's theme, I know the Avengers theme. What the hell is Hulk's theme?
Or even
I mean,
to go to DC, Wonder Woman. You know
that shit is awesome. Yeah,
you know, it's like shit that gets you pumped up.
Right.
You know, like
you know it as soon as you hear it.
Is about to happen. You know.
Yeah. The only song, like in rewatching it, the only song I somewhat recognized, only because I was hearing it, not because it like I remembered it, but the scene after he wakes up in the jungle and he's like, "Where am I?" And they're like, "Oh, you're in Guatemala now instead of Portugal." That kind of
Portugal. It was Brazil. They speak Portuguese there, but yeah, Portugal's on the other side of the ocean.
Yeah, you're right.
Not whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Actually, it's Brazil.
Dad joke earlier. But anyways, he wakes up in Guatemala and it was playing that like kind of depressing, "Oh look, the Hulk is homeless" music, and I was like,
I remember this. I remember the scene, but I damn sure don't remember the music. I mean, I don't know, dude. Not good.
Jeff, you said a 0 on that.
Yep.
Are we changing our scale to allow zeros?
I mean, dude, if it's that bad, then get a 0. I gave him a 1 just because like I'm not a musical person. I can't. Yeah, I'm not a musical person. I can't play anything. I know these people tried their hardest, and I don't want to like completely shit on their work. Not to say that that's what Jeff's doing, but I mean, we all like don't remember a single song from this movie, so it must not be good.
Absolutely. So our last category is rewatchability, which I like to save for last.
Yeah, I'll take this one first if you don't mind.
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna take long.
Right, I'm not going to watch it again. I mean, that's why I gave it a 0, because I will not watch it again. It's not worth watching again. I won't even watch, clips of it again. Like, I really, as much as I love The Incredible Hulk, that movie just, I don't know. I won't watch it again.
I have it as a 1.5 just because the action in this film is entertaining. It is. I really like the scenes with Betty and Bruce together, like on the run and stuff like that. Like that, I was cool with. There's just not much else to this movie. William Hurt's really good, but like you rewatch movies because of action or because of certain like high points in the movie, and I mean there really aren't a huge number in this movie. The action in the like school yard where they shoot the gas canisters into that hallway or whatever, and then he bursts out of there is pretty good. But it's like, this is the MCU. We get that stuff all the time, Yeah.
I'm really torn. I'll lock in at 2. It's definitely a movie that I would never just sit down and be like, we're gonna watch The Incredible Hulk. It is a movie that I could see someone being like, hey, like flipping through the channels and it happens to be on, and somebody like, hey, you care if we watch this? So yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care. But like I'd be very passive about it and would not seek it out. But I do feel like at least the action scenes are somewhat rewatchable. I mean, it's the Hulk smashing stuff. It's hard to not be entertained by that, even though he looks like crap. But yeah, definitely would not rewatch it for the story.
Well, the rewatchability to me is a lot to do with maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed something during the first time of the movie.
Yeah. I don't think you did.
I'll watch it again to see if I missed anything. With this one, it's like, who gives a shit if you missed something, because it's not that good.
Yeah. If you had never seen this movie, and you hadn't, right? This was the first time you've seen it ever? Okay. Hulk's introduction in the Avengers movie is all you need. It's a different actor anyway. Yeah. It's a different iteration of Hulk. He doesn't look like garbage. The Hulk's face in this movie fucking sucks. I'm sorry. It's so stupid looking, dude. It's like he's not human. He's not human. Stop trying to make him human. He's a fucking monster. He should look like a, anyway, we've harped on it long enough. It's a good attempt, and it's their second movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also like when my wife and I do our rewatches, we always skip this. I think I've seen this maybe 3 times in 13 years.
Well, see, if I would have watched this movie when it first came out, I may have a different opinion on it. You know,
Yeah, I doubt it though. I mean,
just because my expectations back then wouldn't have been real high. I
Yeah,
just
true.
remember the other Hulk movies coming out with what's his face. I can't remember the actor, but I didn't like those movies. And so when this one with Eric Bana came out. So when this one came out, I didn't really know the difference, and
yeah,
you know, I just knew they changed the actor. I'm like, well, it's probably still going to be fucking shitty, you know. So I never watched it. But if I did watch it back then, I may have liked it more than I do now. You know, I just don't know.
I doubt it.
I mean, cloud at the end of that movie.
I think we all have this. I mean, the point is that like this is definitely staying in D tier, right, for everybody. I mean,
yeah. So I do want to though, like, because I'm trying to get out of the habit of shitting on things without at least talking about some of the things I felt it did well. So even though the movie sucked, we're at an average of
here's the thing.
2.0.
I wouldn't say this movie actually sucked. Like overall, I had it as like a 6 out of 10, just overall. But like, there are parts of it that are so bad that it's like, ugh, you know?
Yeah, but things that did get right. I feel like the Hulk at his core is supposed to be an uncontrollable beast. And I feel like out of all 3 of the modern movies, I say modern movies, modern versions of the Hulk, this one does feel the most uncontrollable out of the Eric Bana movie and the Ruffalo Hulk.
You know what this one kind of reminded me of? Like with him and what's her name? Betty? Like his love interest. It kind of reminded me of King Kong.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You know, like especially like when they were in the cave and stuff. I was like, I'm getting a really big King Kong vibe right now.
Yeah. I mean, Brian, you can definitely make that argument, and I can't really argue with you, but I will say that he's pretty damn uncontrollable in the first Avengers movie. I mean, when he gets, you know, when he sort of hulks out on the helicarrier, I mean, the world has ended at that point for them. They're like, oh shit, he's going to tear this thing apart, you know? So I think that's really just showing the evolution of the character more than anything, is that he started out as this sort of raging, you know, beast. And now he's like, you know, he can talk and stuff and all that. Right. I mean, he could always talk, but he never really did until like Ragnarok is when he kind of like blossoms, you know, cause he's been Hulk for so long.
Right. Yeah. So I did feel like they at least got that uncontrollable nature of him felt right. I did like that the transformations looked a lot more painful. Like it definitely was more of a Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, for sure.
Type transformation. Even though the CGI was subpar.
And Avengers is more of like a shapeshift. It's just like a morph. In this one, it's like his bones are cracking and like he's in serious pain here.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's kind of hung over when he like, cause turning back to human is also painful, right? Like your body just went through all this crap and now you basically are hung over and recovering from this like crazy thing your body just went through. So I did like that.
So what do we have this as on average? You said
2.0.
Okay. So, I mean, that's about where we had it then. I mean, I feel like this is going to be one of the lower ones. I mean, Captain Marvel will be down there. I'm just spoiler alert. I'm assuming, again, this is not a horrible movie. It's like, you don't need it. You can totally skip this movie, and all the other iterations of the Hulk, you know, being Mark Ruffalo, are really all you need. And he now, do y'all this does not feel like
reason they haven't made a Hulk with Mark Ruffalo?
So Marvel doesn't own the rights technically. If they make a Hulk standalone film, it has to be a Universal movie, which is what this movie was. It takes place in the MCU, but it's kind of like Spider-Man and Sony. If they make a movie, Sony has to actually make it, and Marvel sort of like distributes it, you know?
That's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Well, this movie was during so Marvel went through a weird phase in the late
they were hurting.
90s.
They were hurting, and they sold a bunch of properties.
So they started licensing a lot of different things. Like Marvel's Islands of Adventure theme park. That was Marvel doesn't get anything from that. They license that to Universal to make that park. The Hulk movie rights were licensed. The Spider-Man movie rights were licensed. Fantastic Four, X-Men. Like Marvel was going bankrupt, and so they just started licensing things. And then they were like, "Wait, people are actually making money off of the shit we're licensing. Let's do something ourselves." Yeah, so that's when the Iron Man movie came
And thank
out,
God,
and
because I mean,
yeah,
what we've
proof
seen
of
here, like
concept.
what we've seen here is unlike any. This is totally unprecedented. I mean, the cruise control that the MCU is on now is just
Yeah,
crazy.
what was it? 24 movies, 25 movies?
Yeah,
to
we're
date?
24 now, counting Black Widow. 27 if you include the Disney Plus shows, and they are direct MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope. Do you think they'll ever get to the X-Men? Like,
oh yeah, they will. Kevin
bringing them
Feige's basically got a 5 to 10 year plan. He said, and like by the time they acquired X-Men, he already had like the next 5 years planned out that didn't necessarily include them. So they will eventually get molded in as time allows. And
I remember from the cartoons, like Wolverine and Hulk like didn't like each other.
Yeah, they fought a lot.
Was that in the comics?
Yeah, they're sort of like, I mean, they're not enemies. They're kind of like, it's kind of like Thor and Hulk. They have a little bit of a friendly rivalry that's not always friendly,
Kind of an early prediction too. I do think that, spoilers if you haven't watched Loki season 1, but I think that this whole time variant, multiple timeline thing was probably an idea that came up late in the acquiring Fox, or Disney acquiring Fox and getting X-Men rights back.
Now they can do whatever they want, basically.
Yeah, them opening up all these multiple timelines and the time branching off and overlapping and doing weird stuff is a perfect way to bring
Spider-Verse, Multiverse of Madness, everything. Yeah.
Hugh Jackman maybe as Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, technically, since there's infinite like universes now or whatever, like Hugh Jackman is Wolverine in one of them. Like he has to be. You know, technically, I'm Wolverine in one of them. So it's like, it's a whole thing.
You're never Wolverine.
Shut up. I'm too tall. Yeah. Wolverine's like what, like 5'3". So yeah, he's short. But yeah, let's wrap this up. I mean, this was, to me, I enjoyed watching this, but just because I will say that overall it was better than I remember, but that's not really saying much. I do not hate this movie by any means, but it's my second least favorite MCU film behind, third, Captain Marvel and Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is just its own separate tier because it's so bad for me.
I actually think that I could watch. No, that's pretty bad. These are about the same.
Yeah, it's hard to rate them,
Yeah. So I'm going to run through our scores real quick then for our total. So cinematography combined score 2.5, cast performance 3.5, plot 2.2, rewatchability 1.2, music score as 0.7.
Good God.
And an overall 2.0.
Yeah. I mean, I feel 2.0 is about where I, would have expected us to all have it. So
yeah, I think it worked out. The only thing we had any real spread on, I feel like, was the cast performance. You were,
I was a little bit more lenient, because like I said, I hadn't seen this in so long, and it was better than I remember, but still not great. But anyway, guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what your scores are, and look forward to some more videos soon. We're trying to do these once a week. Life has been kind of getting in the way. Brian was on vacation for a little bit.
He was on vacation for like what, 3 months?
Yeah, it seemed like it.
I was gone for at least 10 days, I think.
Yeah, Jeff's got some family members that are having some medical trouble, so keep them in your thoughts and everything. And Jeff, I don't know if you want to go into that, but just
COVID.
It's real, guys. It's real.
Yeah, I had it. So what's next? What's our next movie? Colby?
Iron Man 2. Isn't that crazy that Iron Man 2, the sequel to Iron Man, is the third MCU movie? It seems like it would be later, but Iron Man 2 is the next one. So
not looking forward to rewatching it.
I'll spoil it for you guys. I love Iron Man 2. I mean, I do. I like it. Love is a strong word. I enjoy this movie. But we'll see. Maybe I'll watch it again and I'll hate it. I haven't watched it in a while. But look forward to some more videos. Like and subscribe to this one. Let us know how you feel about Incredible Hulk in the comments. As always, fan out.
Fan out.
See you guys.